Yeah, will you squeeze my nipples?
Yes.
Like, he's focused on nipples the entire time. The whole movie kind of does center around nipples now that I'm going back on it. We watched probably the greatest movie that's ever come to film, which is, from now on, I'm not calling it Jason X. That is the formal title. The real title is Jason in Space. The movie opens in the Crystal Lake Research Facility. They have these guys who want to do research on Jason. They're like these army officials.
Mm-hmm. They wanted to take him, bring him to their own lab, right?
Yeah. The research facility, the team is saying, okay, we need to take this out. This small Asian woman's like, no, you can't take her out. You don't understand. He's going to kill everyone. He's just like, that's a risk we're going to have to take.
Exactly.
He's already out. He's murdering now.
He's going off.
He's just fucking destroying. Like, it was amazing murder scene. Just like, cut, slab, stab, throws a javelin through a guy's chest, fucking
murdering. The last guy tries to escape. Like, leave me alone. I just wanted to see him. I wasn't going to take him. Fuck.
The small Asian woman is just left with Jason, and it's the small Asian woman versus Jason now, and they fight. She picks up a shotgun, fucking shoots him in the chest, and then was able to somehow maneuver Jason back into the cryo thingamajiggy that freezes him. And Jason, with his last little freezing effort, stabs through the machine and stabs her in the guts.
Stabs her in the gut.
So Jason's frozen. And the Asian woman stabbed in the chest, but then the leak happens, so it locks her in the area, and then the
stab hole in the pod just starts spewing out freezing shit.
And then so she starts to freeze, and then she freezes too with the stab wound, and then we fade to black. And they stumble across this freezer thing, and they're not sure what it is, and they're like, oh, okay, look, there's a person in there. And then they stumble across the small Asian lady, and they're like, oh, there's two people here. Like, these people are like 400 years old. Oh my god, and they're perfectly preserved. This is amazing. So they take them back to the spaceship. They reanimate the small Asian lady, and they bring her back to life, and they're like, oh my god, did you get Jason? Like, is he safe? And they're like, yeah, we have him. Don't worry, everything's fine. And then she just calms down. She's like, okay, good, everything's fine. And then they're like, it's been 400 years, you've been frozen. And she's like, holy shit. All right, let's move on. So this lead scientist guy, he's clearly the bad guy. He's evil in this thing. He other than Jason, obviously.
Yeah.
But he wants to keep Jason alive because he's found out that Jason is super valuable. Like, he's an ancient artifact, and he's like a serial killer that's perfectly preserved. If they keep him alive and bring him somewhere, he can sell him for a shit ton of money. They have Jason on like a warming table.
Yeah.
Like, there was like fire underneath it.
Yeah.
It was on fire underneath him. And so he's obviously heating up. And they're examining all of him. And they do that stereotypical thing where Howard Stern's wife just turns away, and she's like, she turns back, and Jason's gone. And that's exactly what happened.
He thawed out.
Yep.
He's
so
ready
then
to
she's
party.
like, what? Where did you go? And he's behind her. And
of course.
Yeah, he grabs her face and shoves it into a pool of nitroglycerin.
Yeah.
Her face freezes instantly. He picks her up and slams her on the counter, and her face just explodes. Then we cut back to the crew that I start to call them. They're the main core people, because there's a shit ton of people, but they all get murdered.
There's two guys. First, there's two guys making out when they're watching Jason when he's still frozen. They're not two guys. There's a girl and a guy.
Two guys?
Two dudes just making out.
I don't remember two dudes.
It's 2000. They're not allowed to put that on the area. But yeah, there's just a couple. Like, they're really horny and they're making out.
Yeah.
Like, basically leaning on dead Jason.
Yeah.
And the girl gets her face smashed. This is like right before. She's like, go get a room. And they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And they just stop working. Well, making out was work to them.
They got really horny because Jason was dead beside them. It was completely unexplainable.
And he had hard nips. We're back to the nips.
Yes.
And then Jason walks in with the machete and just stabs him and guts him.
Yeah.
And then the girl's like, ah! And then he just walks away.
Yep.
Jason's like, doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yep.
She's too easy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then it does come to the guys playing video games.
That's right.
And they're playing, and it doesn't explain it whatsoever. We are yelling at each other going, is this a different movie now?
Yeah.
What's happening? Because there's two guys with like shotguns, and they're blowing these like dinosaur monster
Monster.
things. They look like they're from Predator.
Yeah.
And we're like, did somehow the movie change? Like, what
Yeah.
happened here? And they're not addressing it whatsoever. And for a solid amount of time, it was like 2-3 minutes where they're just running around killing these things. And we're like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
Yeah.
And then they turn off the simulation.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there to the side, so Jason didn't see him. And then he actually murders them.
Then
in
he
real
really
life.
kills them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he really murders them, and it just. That one was just like a quick stab, dead, slap.
He broke.
over.
He picked up the one guy and just like backbreak.
Yeah, he's fucking
That was
like
awesome.
like a wrestler over the knee, fucking.
Yeah.
Hadoo!
Yeah.
Now they're aware that Jason's out. The fucking head scientist guy deploys an army of people.
4 people.
And then the whole army comes up and then loads like 500 rounds into Jason, and then Jason disappears. We watched it.
I thought he fell. I blinked and I was like, oh, he's on the ground, dead.
Gone.
He just walked. He's like, I don't want to be shot anymore, and he just leaves the room.
found
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
And so Jason just kind of nudges him slightly over the ledge, and he lands on a giant screw, which I don't
Yeah.
understand what its purpose was there, because it was literally just like an 8-foot tall screw.
Yeah, it was a drill, like a drill bit, but
Yeah.
up this way.
Yeah.
Like doing nothing for anybody.
No,
it
but
was
it-
just there to kill a guy in a cool fashion.
And yeah, so Jason kind of goes through the whole cabin, just methodically taking out different people, just
Yeah.
one by one, taking out all these army, just like that, like walking up neck snap, just stab one guy. It's nothing really special, but just goes through that. But the best part of this entire scene is this
hook
lady goes up to and discovers that the guy fell on the screw and got screwed all the way down.
Yeah.
And she goes up to him and she's like, we found whatever his fucking name is. And then the commander goes, oh, what's his condition? She goes, totally screwed. Yeah, Justin Timberlake unloads 4 million bullets into Jason, just like knocking him back. He's got this fucking turret that like he's got a handheld turret that just
minigun.
and Jason's like going back, and he can't stop, so he trips and he falls onto like an anchor, like a boat
Like a hook
anchor
thing,
It was a
big-
big
yeah,
huge
big
boat
hook.
anchor with hooks on it, and Jason gets
just
gutted.
sinks into it, impaled.
Yep. And Jason's
like,
just looking around.
"Oh,
You can see him
no."
like, oh, what the
I'm
hell was
stuck
this?
temporarily.
Yeah, like, and then you see Jason pull himself
One
off-
motion, he literally just goes,
and lifts off of the hook that he's gutted on, and just
He's airborne, by the way. There's nothing to pull off, really.
Well,
I guess the hook.
maybe he could grab the
Anchor.
chain. I don't know
Yeah.
what he was doing back there, but he got off of that, no problem. Just kind of hops off and then grabs him and
Yeah.
slices him in half.
Yeah.
And so the lieutenant guy is running there to find Jason. He's like, oh, we got to get him. And he leans up against a wall for some reason. I
Yeah,
have no
behind like a door.
Yeah.
He's like, where's
Yeah, he just leans up against a random wall for no reason. It's not actually on a corner. He's just on a wall, just like, what the fuck? And
Yeah.
Jason stabs right through his stomach, through the wall.
Just sound horrors.
And then he goes, it's gonna take more than a little poke in the ribs to take out this old dog.
And then just on that cue, another
Immediately,
machete.
another random machete comes through, and he goes, oh, that'll do it. And he just goes over.
I'm dead. He's like more awake than ever when he gets the first time. Like, oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, he's like, oh, fuck you, motherfucker. That was dumb. That's all you got. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, they wanted to land it. That's what they wanted to do.
They wanted to land
kept
it on the
making
ship,
calls in. They found a space station that was nearby,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, we need to land here. We got this guy who's going to murder, and there's like, we got 200 soldiers that are coming here that are going to murder him the second you guys get off the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So just land here and everything will be fine. And they're like, okay, perfect. So they're trying to land at the space station. Jason goes and murders the shit out of Matthew McConaughey.
He just-
and
yeah, ruthless.
So that means that no one is driving this spaceship from,
Totally unmanned.
from the future, even though in the year 2018 we have self-driving cars. The year 2000 to 455,
No autopilot.
no autopilot.
Not even autopilot.
No. So they just go
Oh, God.
fucking like 200 miles an hour right into this fucking space station. They blow right through it, exploding the entire thing.
Whole space station. They don't get a dent
Yeah.
on their ship.
The ship just plows right through a fucking space station.
Like butter.
Twice to 3 times the size of this fucking ship. The ship was supposed to land inside of it, just for a frame of reference, and they just plow through it and they just explode the entire thing. So, that they all decide, the main crew, lock themselves in a room. The crew consists of the lead scientist, 2 slutty girls, I'm bad with names, so I just described them.
Yeah.
So there's the small Asian from the 400-year-old small Asian, the sex robot, the guy who wants to fuck the sex robot, a black guy that's never addressed, and the pedophile mechanic. So they all lock themselves in this room with a giant fucking steel door. They lock it tight. They're like, no one's ever getting through this. And they hear Jason banging on the door, and then he stops banging. And they're like, I don't think he's out there anymore.
He's gone.
I think he's safe.
They're literally like, he left. He's done.
They literally
He's done.
said verbatim, I think he's done.
Yeah.
I think he's tired of murdering us all. It's over.
It's over.
Yep.
Yeah.
So as that's being said, he smashes through the fucking glass window that's right beside. They're all not facing. They open up the fucking door. They all run out except for the lead scientist.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, the scientist had the machete basically in his hand. It was right beside him on the table. And Jason pushes the scientist to the side and grabs his old machete and is like, oh, fuck, yeah, this is I remember this shit.
Yeah.
And then the scientist yells out to the crew that's outside, goes, guys, don't worry, he just wanted his machete back. I'm telling you, he's good now.
Woo! We're totally relieved.
We're completely
I feel
safe.
great.
Yeah.
Woo! You scared me for a second.
And then then you hear him put out a blood-curdling scream as
It was
he's
so bad.
murdered by the old machete that
Yeah.
Jason got back. Can do the robot fucker and his sex robot go and they start talking to each other.
Yeah.
And they have this real intimate moment, and they go.
What are the chances of survival
What do you
here?
think? What do you think our chances are survival? That's what robot fucker says, and the sex robot goes, "Doot. Our chances are about 12%. And he
Yeah.
goes, that's bullshit! That is bullshit!
This is bullshit!
Can't you give us any better statistics! And
then they lock eyes 3 seconds silent, and they just start making out for 5 seconds.
Yes,
they
they-
French for 5 seconds.
Yep, they tongue dart each other for a little while. They
got in
pull
there.
away, they lock eyes, and she goes, our chances just went up to 53%. And he goes,
Want to make it 100%?
he fucks a robot. She comes out and she's fucking loaded to the max now. So he upgraded the shit out of her with his
did,
dick.
yeah.
Yeah. And then they get to the escape pod. But one slutty girl, one of the fucking slut girls, goes in there and locks the fucking door. She just puts the fucking thing in gear. She just drives it away, but it's still attached to a fuel line.
Yeah.
And it's the equivalent of driving away from a gas pump with the gas pump still in your fucking car.
Yeah.
And that's only something a woman would do.
Yeah.
So obviously this woman just fucking drives away.
Just
and
full speed acceleration.
Yeah.
Let's go.
explodes into the bottom of the ship. The ship is now leaking gas because she fucking exploded the end. So now the ship is gonna blow up in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
When after all that explodes, the sex robot comes back to save the day because Jason's closing in on them because they can't escape the escape pod room. And then all of a sudden she gets a full shotgun and just and his head just goes.
Blows his head off.
Boom!
His leg
Head-
off.
yeah.
His arm.
Yeah, they, for whatever reason, leave the goddamn reanimation station on.
Yeah.
They just left it on
Jason dies right by it.
right beside it, so the
Yeah.
metal just leaks over and pours all over Jason. So Jason comes back as Uber Jason
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that we found out in the credits.
very
we had no idea that his name was Uber Jason,
Yeah.
but
It's called Space Jason.
Yeah, it's blow up. And this is where the black guy that no one addresses, just comes in for 5 minutes.
Yeah, he
this was-
stops manning
yeah.
the plane. What's going on over here?
Yeah,
Do you
he's like,
still
"Hey,
need
what's,
me?
What's going on?" So he just comes in there, and everyone else gets over to the other side of the plane the last second, but they drop the charges to explode it.
Yeah.
The black guy goes over, picks it up, and blows himself up with Jason
Yep.
in the other side of the ship. The other side of the ship explodes, but somehow, not really explained, Jason grabs onto the outside of the spaceship and is hanging on the side, punches a hole through the fucking, just boom!
Yeah, just
Yeah, he just punches a hole through, so now air is being, they're getting sucked out of the,
Right into space.
of the spaceship.
Yeah.
The other slutty girl, the second slutty girl, is hanging onto a grate by her fucking fingertips.
Fingernails and
Yeah,
shit, trying to
she
grab
can't-
onto the people in safety. Come
yeah,
on.
she can't.
grab
Their hands are literally touching. They're like this. She just lifts her hands
I
up,
can't.
looks them straight in the eye, and goes, "This sucks on so many levels," and then just lets go.
And then explodes and gets cheese grated. That's her way out. What an awkward way out.
It's super. So he just finds the way out, gets
Yeah.
out. just in the nick of time, they're all running into they called for help during all of this kerfuffle, and the guy is loading up his escape pod on the side, and they're attaching, and just as Jason's coming out, they get in the door.
We have to close it. Hurry up.
They have to close, but Lieutenant can't get in, so they close the door on Lieutenant, and they take off, and Lieutenant just fucking fist fights Jason in space.
Yeah,
they
he's just punching him in the blowing up ship.
Yeah.
And then the ship blows up.
Yeah, so they get exploded, and they're like, yes, we did it. Everything's safe, and they look out and they're like, "Oh my God, Lieutenant sacrificed his life. Everything is gonna be okay." And they see off in the distance,
out of
Jason
nowhere. Who's that? Is it a bird?
Floating towards them.
Is it a bird?
There's
Is it a
nothing,
plane?
There's nothing.
It's like
they can
Superman,
do.
like a fucking Power Ranger, just rushing him.
He's getting closer, and then Lieutenant comes out of nowhere. Boom! And they have like
Intercepts.
they have like a fucking Dragon Ball Z fight in the sky. They're like
Punching each other. Nothing's happening.
And then they're falling into Earth, and
they're holding on to each other. Lieutenant's like, "Fuck, yeah, I'm going down with you."
Puts
Jason.
him in a body lock, and they just start fucking burning up in the atmosphere.
They turn into an asteroid, a human asteroid.
They're falling into the atmosphere, and they're going into space, and then it cuts to what I'm assuming is Earth, because it's not explained whatsoever.
It's not like Mars anymore.
Nope.
There's no hurricane of lava, volcanoes, no bad shit happening. Normal Earth. They're in the forest. Like, wow, it's like they're camping.
It's
or
two
something.
girls on, or a guy and a girl
yeah.
at like the Bahamas. That's what it looks like. It looks completely normal. I would live there.
Looking
no problem.
across the water.
Yep. They're holding it, and they see Jason and Lieutenant falling out of the sky, and they're like, "How pretty, a shooting star. That's so nice.
Make a wish."
Oh, it fell in the water. That's so nice." And then you see Jason's mask like floating down in the water, fade to fucking black, and that's how it ends. And keep your shit together.